An anthology about the bad, the short-lived, and the forgotten shows and events in television history. This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Punisher! Control!
Harry, before I change my mind!
I give you Super Train.
Episode 396, submission number 1046, Angie. Angie aired on the ABC television network from February 8, 1979 to September 4th, 1980 for 36 episodes over 2 seasons. If you're listening to this over YouTube, we have to take the theme out because it was a number 1 hit from Maureen McGovern. I would sing it as aired, but alas, I am too good a singer.
Can I do like a sound-alike version?
You could try.
Okay, wait.
Hold on.
Wait, before you do that, just let our dear listeners know, 36 episodes. 20 more than Uncle Croc's Block and the Hudson Brothers Razzle Dazzle show. And now, Greg, give us your rendition of the Angie theme. I cannot wait to hear this. Yeah, we're doing a good job humming the theme there.
Yeah. And now for our pod.
Hold on. I'm out. Better job than I did with What a Country.
True. And now for our non-YouTube listeners, here's the actual theme. Enjoy!
That was a good rendition, Greg. I really have to say that.
Maureen McGovern is jealous of you right now.
I thought she was in the fucking room.
You know what? I bet she would have been jealous of my What a Country version.
I bet you she would. Here we are in the late 1970s, early 1980s, the come down of the disco era, which led to a bit of class warfare, as demonstrated by the rise of the yuppie to counter the fall of the working class stiffs. Of course, television would hold a mirror up to society, as is evidenced by Soap, a show that we will never cover on this podcast, but is relevant to the topic at hand. So what happens when two star-crossed people from these separate worlds, as Maureen McGovern sang about, come together and find love? That's the question that's posed by this series, which is created by Gary Marshall and Dale McRaven, fresh off a battery of successes for this network, including Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, and Mork and Mindy.
I'm out. Was that buzzing someone's eugenics?
It's not coming from me. I'm looking at a certain Panamanian.
What buzzing? I don't hear any buzzing. That's probably my air conditioner or my fan or something.
Or your eugenics. And for the home audience, Chico is going up to take a look at his air conditioner to see if that's what's causing this noise.
No, it was more like a cell phone.
It sounded like a cell. Yeah, I agree with you on that. We'll just blame the eugenics.
What the hell was that?
That's
that was
eugenics.
Yeah, that was eugenics.
That's eugenics.
Well, old Frank Thomas and Andy Van Slyke got in your system.
And Willem Dafoe.
And Willem Dafoe and Doug Flutie, yes.
Oh, baby.
It's Sir Willem Dafoe.
I'm not even British. Why did I think you were British? I don't know, man.
Okay, so on one hand, we have a coffee shop waitress by the name of Angelina Falco, working class Italian American, family oriented, lives in an apartment with her sister Marie and her mom Teresa. And on the other side, you have a wealthy, well-to-do, waspy pediatrician named Bradley Benson. He says he's a struggling young doctor, but when they finally get to their 2-week anniversary, in which is depicted by the first episode, he reveals that, well, you heard of filthy rich? He's nasty rich.
Well, I think it's more his family is nasty rich than anything else.
Yes, his family is nasty rich. They leave him with this big honkin' house. And it really is just him in that house. Until, Angie moves in to the big house.
So basically, we've summarized the first episode. It is very expository, but also quoting Butter's dad in Butter's very own episode.
You're a liar! You're a liar! You know something that you're not telling us, you slimy scumbag liar!
One of us, gooble gobble, one of us, gooble gobble. And if you've never seen Butter's very own episode of South Park, you're doing yourself such an injustice. That is one of the funniest episodes of South Park ever.
So the blue-collar, urban Italian-American Catholic Falcos and the blue-blooded suburban waspy Bensons, including Brad's thrice-married sister and her daughter, who takes a shine to Angie, are all forced to become one big happy family when, at the end of the first episode, Brad proposes to Angie. And at the end of the third episode, Brad and Angie elope. And sometime in the fourth episode, they go through an actual church wedding because Teresa Falco is Angie's mother and she's not having any of this elopement nonsense. No, seriously, she's not. You'll understand when we get to the cast, which we'll do, right now. Playing the title role of Angie Falco Benson is Shia LaBeouf's mother from Even Stevens herself, Donna Pesco.
Hold on,
I heard the Nugenics again.
No? Oh.
I told you it was the phone.
See, it was Chico the whole time.
Yeah, okay.
That was about as easy of a solve as it was figuring out that Gary Condit didn't kill Chandra Levy.
Of course. So where were we?
We're talking about Donna Pescow. And where would we know her from?
In the title role of Angie Falco Benson would be Donna Pesco, straight off of Saturday Night Fever, and yet to be the mother of Maureen Flanagan on Out of This World or Shia LaBeouf on Even Stevens. But still cute as a button.
Oh, she is adorable.
Hang on. Chico, have you ever seen the episode of Dash's A Very Special Episode of the Hanukkah?
Lewis gets grounded for Hanukkah and it's all a dream.
Yes!
Yes!
It is a very WTF episode.
He's sticking his finger into Christy Carlson Romano's head.
Okay.
Now, which episode are you guys talking about?
Even Stevens. Dash covered it in a very special episode. It is the Even Stevens where Lewis is grounded for Hanukkah.
What type of thing do you need to do to get suspended or punished on a high holiday?
Break everybody's presents because you were huffing them in a Dutch oven of your own making like a fiend.
Damn.
That's what happens, man. All right, on the other side of the equation, playing the role of Dr. Brad Benson, Robert Hayes. And let's be honest, as soon as this show ends, he's going to go on to the role of a lifetime.
Yeah. Simply put, do we really need to tell everybody what role that is? I think we should, but Ted Stryker and Airplane, folks.
Just remember, we're all counting on you. Playing his sister, thrice married Joyce Benson, would be Sharon Spellman, who, let's be honest, her character looks down a lot on Angie and her family. This is as long as her career actually goes, but she was in the 1988 remake of The Blob. So there's that. Playing Angie's sister Marie is Deborah Lee Scott, another cutie. She's another cutie. And of course, if there was a game show on from the mid-70s to the mid-80s, she was on it. She was incredibly inept. She was incredibly adept at password.
No, I like the way you put it first. Not to cutting that out, but I like it. No, she is an adept at password. Oh God, our little gaffes. I love it.
Playing Joyce's daughter Hillary, a very young Tammy Lauren. And this is before she would sort of re-enter the primetime space as one of the detectives on martial law with Sammo Hung and Kelly Hu and eventually Arsenio Hall.
With Kelly who?
Kelly Hu.
Kelly who? I'm asking you. Kelly who?
Kelly Hu, I'm telling you.
Well, answer the question. Kelly
I
who?
am answering the question. It's Kelly Hu.
Oh, get your Nugenics back over here and let's move on. And that was our rendition of Who's On First. You're welcome, people.
And then we have, as Angie's coworker and best friend Dee Dee Malloy, Diane Robin. She was only around for the first season and a couple of episodes for the second season. But you would probably remember her as Chandra in RoboCop. I think she ended up living through that movie. And then in recurring appearances, you have Emery Bass as Phipps, the Benson's lawyer, who rather likes Angie, probably because he's not like the Bensons at all. But yeah, he was in Kojak, Dark Shadows, 1776 from 1972. Sadly, no longer with us. Died at 89 in 2015. We have Randall Benson, Brad Benson's father, played by the inimitable John Randolph, who, again, is no longer with us. He died in 2004. But he was Skylar Fox in You Got Mail. He was Sidney Green in Serpico. Serpico? I didn't think we ever mentioned that on this show. And aside from that, he's pretty much that guy from That Thing. He's got a whole lot of credits, and we're not going to go over all of them.
We mentioned in a previous episode that he was the original Frank Costanza on Seinfeld before it went to Jerry Stiller. Greg would have mentioned it, but he was too busy trying to correct baseball stats for the summer league he works at during this episode.
And then we have the three Marys from Angie's school. That's what they call themselves, the three Marys. Mary Mary, Mary Grace, and Mary Catherine. Mary Mary is played by Valerie Bromfield, who went on to be a voice actor. Mary Grace is played by Susan Duvall, who went on to be Lou's nurse in Major League 2.
Now we're starting to roll, boys!
Are you all right?
Oh, yeah, I love this British stuff.
General Spencer Ewell was a patient of your Uncle Richard's. Arthur and I dined.
And Mary Catherine is played by Nancy Lane, who didn't go on to do much.
Do I need to play the liar sound effect here, Chico? Nancy Lane went on to The Duck Factory, and she also appeared at least on 1 week of Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour.
But rounding out the cast, America's favorite overbearing mother. As Teresa Falco, Doris Roberts. And really, do we even need to say anything more than that?
Yes, I'm going to add one thing. Mark my word. 2024, it was the thing on TV, Hall of Famer. Mark my word. I'm not. Not saying I'm going to induct her. I'm not saying either of you are going to induct her. I'm not going to force you to do that. But she's going to be in the hall.
I'm not going to argue with that.
You can't argue it. She has too good of a resume.
So the resultant comedy is sort of like Rhoda, except with Catholics instead of Jewish people, and in Philadelphia instead of New York City. Oh yeah, and somebody's rich. So we already went over the first episode, but here it is again. Episode 1, The Proposal. Angie and Brad begin falling for one another despite their different backgrounds. We all explained how this was going to go down. Nobody of note in this episode, so we'll just go on to episode 2. Episode 2, Wedding Wings. Teresa's fear of flying complicates Brad's father's desire to get to know Angie and her family better. And as the stewardess, sort of a Southern belle in her own right, Simone Griffith. Like her character, Simone Griffith actually comes from Georgia, but has a theater arts major at the University of South Carolina. So what is her most notable role? As Annie in Death Race 2000. Episode 3, The Elopement. When Angie and Brad try to plan their wedding, and it turns into a nightmare because of their families, they decide to elope. Playing the sheriff in this episode, that's his name, the sheriff, Dolph Sweet, Carl Kaniski.
Yes!
Somebody who's going to be in law enforcement in about a year or two after Angie. He wasn't just Carl Kaniski, he was the chief. So this is practice. He's a sheriff in this episode, and then when he gets to Give Me a Break, he's going to be the chief.
And they end up, because they're going to elope, at Shady Lane Motel after finding the Justice of the Peace had died, getting lost, and fixing a flat tire. And somebody steals the car with Brad asleep in it.
Oh, God.
I was expecting you to make a reference to that motor lodge. Shady Pines Motor Lodge, I think it was.
Hold on a second. Let me find whatever that motor lodge is out here.
Haha, call back to last week. Got
The
him.
Pines Motor Lodge.
Pines Motor, yeah, Shady Pines is where on Golden Girls.
Shady Pines, Ma! Shady Pines!
Yeah, Shady Pines Motor Lodge is like totally different.
Yeah, so none of this would happen if they just stayed at the Pines. Ha! Callback. Got him. Episode 4. The Morning After.
Time out. Wasn't that a movie with Jane Fonda?
Also the name of a song by Maureen McGovern. So we pick up from the previous episode. Angie and Brad have coffee the morning after their comically odd elopement, and they have to tell their families what happened. Hillary is welcoming of Angie and her family. Joyce and Teresa leave mad after being told the news, and things struggle to be straightened out. Episode 5. The Adjustment. Angie becomes bored after leaving her waitress job and moving into Brad's mansion. In an uncredited cameo as a coffee shop customer, Donnie Most.
Actually, it's Don Most now.
Episode 6, Teresa's Date. Oh boy, are you guys ready for this? Brad's dad dates Angie's mom. That's it. That's the plot of the episode. Episode 7, The House Guests. Newlyweds Angie and Brad have unexpected house guests when Teresa and Marie are evicted from their apartment. Conflict arises when the relatives make themselves at home, and Teresa basically tries to run things. Because it's Doris freaking Roberts, and that's what she does.
Well, that's what mothers do. Let's just say that. Mothers or mothers-in-law in this case, if you're Robert Hayes' character. Yeah, that's what mothers or mothers-in-law do. They take control. Not that we have any experience in that. No.
We love our mothers.
Well, I'm talking about mothers-in-law. We don't have that experience.
No, I don't have a mother-in-law.
Well, you'd have to be married to have a mother-in-law. That's sort of a prerequisite.
Mother, I always love her. My mother. So treat her right. Treat her right.
And you said you were gonna have anything to contribute to this episode, Greg.
Get out of my head, Chico. I was thinking the exact same thing.
You are a trooper and a gentleman, good sir.
Mom, you raised a good son, huh?
Episode 8, The Opportunity. Teresa encourages a reluctant Brad to hire Marie as his receptionist. At this point, Marie is working nights at a daycare. She works nights at a daycare, and now she's going to be Brad's receptionist. But when he does, it leads to chaos in his office. Well, you hire Deborah Lee Scott to be your receptionist. This is the sort of thing that happens.
Yeah, we said she was inept at password.
Episode 9, Joyce's Job. When her alimony payments end, Joyce is forced to do the unthinkable for a Benson. Find a job for the first time ever.
Do it. Say it. Get it out of your system. Just do it or else I'm going to do it.
Okay. Playing a hostess in this episode, Nidra Voles.
Oh, I think my new genetics just went off.
God.
Oh my gosh.
Really, Mike? Try to be professional about this.
That went out the window a long time ago. I did not know a 115-year-old woman would do that to me.
Episode 10, The First Fight. Brad goes out with some old friends, drinks too much, and comes home late. This results in the couple's first big fight.
Well, it had to happen sooner or later.
Especially with friends named Chicky, Kitty, and Bunny, who are played respectively by Stephen Johnson, Carol Willard, and Lois Young, none of whom have done anything of great importance, so we're just going to move on. Episode 11, Angie's Good Deed. Angie wants her friends to have the same happiness she has in being married. Even though he thinks it's a bad idea, Brad agrees to fix up one of his buddies with Angie's friend Dee Dee. Episode 12, The Checkup. Angie's mother is having aches and pains and needs to see a doctor. She reluctantly agrees to a checkup with her son-in-law.
This can't end well. The mother-in-law getting checked by her son-in-law?
Well, look at it this way. It can't be worse than flying with her son-in-law, because that was pretty bad, if you remember. We have a character named Polly. He's played by David Elliott, who was in the cast of Jaws 2 and the art department of The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. And that was season 1. ABC got so much positive buzz that they ended up putting it on Thursday nights after Mork and Mindy, and it wasn't just a hit. It wasn't just a big hit. It was a major hit.
Top 5 for the season hit.
It was number 5 behind Three's Company, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, and Happy Days. So yeah, ABC was in a good way in 1978 to 1979. And they were hoping to continue the winning ways in 1979 to 1980 when they pick up Angie for a second full season. And you would think that they could build off this momentum by having it move to another night to be in the presence of greatness. Yeah, that didn't happen. ABC totally messed it up.
You think it was going to happen? Nope.
And we'll go over how Angie went from one of the top draws of the network to something that was just, at the very best, okay. Right after these era-appropriate messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Just had a hamburger loaded with onions. Kiss me.
Onions?
Hey, kiss me. I got the signal.
Minty.
Signal mouthwash fights strong mouth odors.
I just ate garlic bread. Kiss me.
Garlic?
Come on, kiss me. I got the signal.
Hey, nice.
Signal fights strong mouth odors. Even garlic, even onions. Gives you fresher, cleaner breath. Clinical tests prove it. A kiss will prove it.
Kiss me. I got the signal.
Oh, boy, skydiver! Pull the chute! Oh, I went too much to the right.
Maybe one of these days they'll let me play. They never seem to get tired of playing Atari. Probably because Atari has so many different games to play. Games like basketball, football, chess, bowling, outlaw. More than 30 games that I never get to play.
I'll play with you, Daddy.
Thanks.
No other company offers you as many different video game cartridges as Atari. Saturday, Helen's out for some extra cash.
I think I can satisfy you.
On the ropers. And Detective School gets caught on the wrong side of a holdup.
I look like a thief.
No, but your face is against the law.
Then on the love boat, two teens fake their way into the honeymoon suite, and it's left to Gopher to keep them apart. And on Fantasy Island, a high school wallflower gets revenge on the class bully by blossoming into a beauty. And a would-be Rocky takes on the champion of the world. Sunday, Rudolph and Frosty together for the first time in a new feature-length movie at 7, 6 Central and Mountain.
What a neat idea.
Then at 8:30, 7:30 Central and Mountain, Mork's in uniform as a Denver Bronco cheerleader. Sunday, Cheryl Ladd and Robert Urich hide a terrible secret inside their home when she was bad.
So Angie is riding high as one of the top shows on television. And for good reason. We have a really good cast, really well-produced TV show, really well-written format, but there was going to be some changes in season 2. For one, Leonora Tuna was put in as the producer, and Brad would buy out the Liberty Coffee Shop, which Angie would turn around and sell to buy, of all things, a beauty salon.
What?
Brad would buy the coffee shop. Angie would flip it to buy a beauty salon, and then hire a hairstylist named Gianni, played by Tim Thomerson.
Oh, gosh! Tim Thomerson! Low-key making a Hall of Fame case.
Unfortunately, that would not leave any room for A, Dee Dee, or B, Hillary. Both of them would be gone for the majority of season 2. Season 2 begins with Angie's old friends, When Angie's old friends come over to visit, she tries to hide the fact that she's very well off financially. We have the three Marys that we mentioned. We have Dee Dee Malloy, and then we have somebody named Carmela, played by Ann DeSalvo. Episode 2, The First Separation. Angie and Brad have a disagreement after he practices his speech for an upcoming convention, and she criticizes it as boring. David Elliott returns as Polly, but guess who plays a character named Maxie? Adrian Zmed from TJ Hooker. He was also in Grease too. Thank you, Kiesla.
No problem.
Episode 3.
I'm sorry, I just love the random input from Kiesla.
I love my sister. You know me. I love my sister.
Well, who doesn't?
Doesn't?
I just love how she just randomly chimes in there. Don't forget about Grease too.
Episode.
Hold on, Kiesel. I wish I could forget about Grease too.
Michelle Pfeiffer wishes she could forget about Grease too. She was in the damn thing. I know. That's the joke.
Well, they might not know.
They know.
Oh, okay.
Episode 3. Moving Day. Brad becomes upset when he's told by Angie that they're moving into a new place he hasn't seen.
What?
Yeah, they spend like the last 15 episodes in this massive mansion. There's nothing to do with it. So they move into a duplex where Angie and Brad live in one part of it, and Brad practices his medicine in the other part of it. It's very simple. Playing Richard, a patient of Brad's, apparently, Jeremy Licht, who we're supposed to believe is Danny Ponce's twin brother on the Hogan Family. Can you? I can.
No, you're right about that. That's a hard sell.
Episode 4, Marie's Crush. Angie becomes alarmed when Marie develops a crush on Brad and then considers becoming a nun. Playing Mother Janet, that's her name, Mother Janet, Helen Page Camp, who was on the Love Boat and the Incredible Hulk, but she was in 3 seminal episodes of The Fresh Prince as Margaret Firth. As in, the wife of the husband who goes to the prison with Uncle Phil, where Uncle Phil gives the sheriff what for? Did you talk to their parents? No, because we're their parents. Did you talk to their lawyer? No, because we're their lawyer. So you let those 2 kids out, or I'll tie this place up in so much litigation that your grandchildren are going to need lawyers. Every time Uncle Phil gives a speech, it's epic. Episode 5, The Gift. Brad's father creates tension with Brad and Angie after he buys Angie an expensive fur coat for her birthday. One of many appearances of Richard Beauchamp as Hector. Of course, we would know him for 13 episodes of Hunter as Carlos, and 3 episodes of Hill Street Blues as Marty Rodriguez.
Another person in this episode. And if you want to talk about low-key making a case for the Hall of Fame, this is about as low-key of a case as you can make. Playing Bev is Kit McDonough. This is at least the 4th time we've talked about her. She was the wife on What's Ellen Watching? She played Lois McCardle on Teachers Only, and she was on an episode of the Bad News Bears. So there's 4 entries.
Yep, 1 more and she gets her a Hall of Fame card punched.
Potentially, but more importantly, 1 more reference, and she wins the Chevette. Never mind.
Call back the face to music. Boom! Got him!
No, they didn't give away Chevettes on Face the Music. No.
I thought they gave Chevettes on Face the Music.
No, I was doing like Tic-Tac-Toe or Joker
Oh,
the Wild.
that's right.
No, they gave away Datsuns on Face the Music. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, because Sandy Frank could only afford a Datsun.
Were you absent for that show? I'm just wondering. But also, I said the magic number is 5. If we ever get to the Rita Moreno show, if we can find it, she was in that, and that was a piece of junk. So just saying, there's number 5. And looking at her IMDb, that may be it. There is not going to be a number 5 besides that. We need, hold on. No. I just found she was on an episode of Mr. President. There's number 5. There's number 5. So there's your potential entry to the hall. And there's the Chevette for her. But still, if there's going to be a number 6, it's going to be the Rita Moreno show if we can find it.
Wait a minute. We did talk about Mr. President. That's 5. That's 5.
What I said. It's 5. Yeah, I said it's 5.
Okay. All right.
And just because, it's been 95 episodes since Greg talked about it, she was on an episode of Wings in season 7 in 1996.
Can you believe, guys, it's going to be almost 100 episodes since I mentioned for the first time ever I love Wings.
I should have just kept my mouth shut. I'm sorry.
Episode 6, The Thief. Fed up with everyone coming over uninvited, Brad and Angie lie about going on vacation so that they can spend some time alone in their new home. Perhaps playing the thief, a character named Kenny, Peter Scolari. Everybody's favorite bosom buddy. Yeah, I said it, Tom Hanks. Fight me.
No, everybody's favorite Newhart son-in-law. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. How about everybody's favorite mad scientist?
Oh, that's right, because he did play Wayne Zelinsky on the TV show.
Yeah, you know who his wife was on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV show?
Who?
Barbara Allen Woods of Eden.
Really?
That soap opera that was produced by Playboy for USA.
Ooh.
That came on in sometimes after Silk Stockings.
Oh, when you've gotten your eugenics fix on Silk Stockings, you really need it to last. Like another hour. Mike is hanging his head in shame. He's like, really, Greg? You really said that? Yes.
No, I really can't believe you made a Silk Stockings reference. Especially since during my summer break, that's literally how I spend 3 hours a day watching Silk Stockings.
You do you, boo. You do you, boo.
Hey, I just like how on every episode, they're in season 5. Actually, earlier today, they showed the episode where Rob Estes got killed off.
Bro!
Yeah, season 5 gone about halfway through the season. But anyhow, one of the
That's the first show that he gets killed off of. The second one is CSI Miami. He plays a guy who is hired to clean crime scenes, and his ex-wife is Natalia Bonavista, played by the lovely and talented Ava LaRue. She is a suspect in his murder.
So as I was saying, I'm watching all these episodes of Silk Stockings during my summer break, and I love just the variety of places that they interview people. It's like they're trying to maximize the TNA factor. Oh, they went to a strip club today. They went to a beach volleyball game, and all the girls in the background are wearing thongs. And oh, they went to some public park or some beach, and oh, everybody's walking around in a string bikini there. The TNA factor.
And you realize that at least once a season, Charlie Broyle has to get in on the questioning.
I think I've only seen him get on the questioning once. I think it was earlier this week. It was him and Rob Estes' character there, poolside, interviewing somebody. And of course, couple females, I should say, right behind him are wearing thong bikinis, showing their little tushies, walking right behind Charlie Brill.
Ooh.
I'm sure Mitzi McCall was at home saying, "You son of a bitch, when you get home, I'm smacking you upside the head with this rolling pin."
Hold on, time
You
out.
better not have looked.
Time out. Didn't you say in one of the episodes Gilbert Gottfried was in?
He was yes, he was in an episode earlier this week. Yes.
I got a question. Was Rhonda Shear in an episode of Silk Stalkers?
Well, aren't you lucky? I have IMDb up right now. Let me check.
Ooh, I can only hope she was on an episode of Silk Stalkers. They had to get everybody from Up All Night on Silk Stalkers.
I was going to make a mention of Dynaman, but that was Night Flight, not Up All Night. My mistake.
That's a
Greg,
future installment.
Oh, Greg, wait, hold on, Greg.
Yeah.
This is like a double win. Not only was she on an episode of Silk Stockings, she was on an episode of Duckman, 2 USA series.
What did she play on Duckman?
Rhonda Shear, of course. I mean, that's literally, it says Rhonda Shear, voice.
Oh, wow, what a stretch. Rhonda Shear played herself on Duckman.
Remember, Ben Stein played himself on Duckman. Or he played somebody named Mr. Stein.
I'm looking at some stills on IMDb. Legitimately, she played herself. I mean, I see a blonde girl here giving Duckman a hug. And I may have to pull out my DVDs of Duckman to see this episode, to see what part she had, because it looks, I'm guessing she's this blonde woman. But so yeah, she was on Duckman, she was on Silk Stockings. But getting back to Gilbert, oh my gosh, Gilbert should have won an award for what he did on Silk Stockings. I'm not even joking. That was a great episode. I know you're hearing me say the word an award and Silk Stockings. You're like, what?
Hold on. An award, Silk Stockings, and Gilbert Gottfried.
He did a good job. He was playing like some sort of sleazy, I want to say agent or manager of like a, I don't know if it was a nightclub or a strip club. I clearly wasn't paying that much attention, but he did it. He was funny. He did a damn good job on that.
I'm sorry for those who wanted to hear about Angie and you had to listen to the last 5-7 minutes talking about Silk Stockings and Gilbert Gottfried and Rhonda Shear.
And T's and A's and T's and A's. Don't leave out the unimportant stuff.
Okay, so where were we? Episode 7.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait.
Oh, for God's sakes, Mike!
No, this is quality content. I made a mistake. I said I didn't know if it was a nightclub or a strip club. It may have been more of a, well, you determine what it was. He was the manager of a club where mud wrestling was going on.
Mud wrestling?
Well, it could be either one of those.
Well, the thing is, at the end of the episode, Rob Estes and Gilbert and if this is true, oh my gosh, this is a callback to earlier in this episode. Oh no, it wasn't. I thought it was going to be Tim Thomerson. No, it was, I think, John O'Hurley. They were all fighting in the mud pit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. A triple threat match. Rob Estes, Gilbert Gottfried, and John O'Hurley in a mud wrestling pit.
And of course, John O'Hurley would be there, so it would be classy as hell.
Getting pummeled in this mud pit. What do you mean it's classy as hell?
It's
how do you
John
make mud wrestling
freaking
classy?
Hurley! Come on!
But how do you make mud wrestling classy?
I can guarantee you, Dave Meltzer, if he was reviewing that mud wrestling match, would say, 2 1/4 stars, didn't have Kenny Omega, match wasn't at the Tokyo Dome, ass.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, now we're done talking about Silk Stockings. Episode 9 or whatever it is.
How many tangents can we fit in this damn episode? I don't know. Okay, episode 7. We're on episode 7 now. Vinny's return. Brad is initially at base when Angie's old flame, Vinny, comes to visit. However, it becomes clearly evident that Vinny is still attracted to Angie. Vinny Vicicio is played by Paul Pop. He was cast to co-star as Double J opposite John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. If you remember, Donna Pesco was also in Saturday Night Fever playing up affecting was, I don't know if it was an affected Brooklyn accent or her natural Brooklyn accent, but she was there with Paul Pappy. So a bit of a reunion of sorts. Episode, oh my god, I've been waiting for this episode. I wanted to see Greg's reaction when I tell him who's in this episode. Episode 8, Uncle Cheech. Angie and Brad's lives are turned upside down when her obnoxious uncle comes to stay with them following his divorce. Kind of reads like season 2, episode 1 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, especially when you consider that Uncle Cheech is played by the one, the only Danny DeVito.
But Uncle Cheech, I'm sorry.
I'm waiting for a reaction and I'm getting nothing.
But did Uncle Cheech eat chili cheese fries out of a bowling ball?
No.
Well, that's why this got canceled after the second season. If he ate chili cheese fries out of a bowling ball, this would still be on.
You know what? It would have stood a fighting chance at least.
Did he go to a water fountain with a hot dog tray and drink water?
No.
Man, how many more things can we say about Danny DeVito related to It's Always Sunny? Was he the art dealer on Gablogian at any point? Is Uncle Cheech?
Derivative.
Hold on. Do we have to talk about this past week's episode of It's Always Sunny?
We just talked about it.
Okay. This is what happens when I'm busy with baseball stats.
Mike just talked about it. It was basically bowling night, and Frank is eating chili cheese fries out of a bowling ball. And everybody's pissed drunk.
And he rolls the ball down the lane and the chili cheese is spilling out.
And you would think that it would not get any better than what we did last week with Risky Rats. It gets better.
And also you had Gail the Snail back.
You had Gail the Snail, yeah.
Yes. And Artemis. And Artemis,
yeah.
We have
and the waitress. And the waitress. You had everybody. And Gail the Snail was snorting Jello shots up her nose.
Wait, hold on. Didn't Frank have a threesome with Gail and Artemis in the back?
Yes, right.
Yes.
Episode, yes.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
And it was glorious.
Spoiler here. Yeah, at the end of the episode, when Dee made her one pin after Dennis kept saying gutter ball, gutter ball, gutter ball, and the pins were all saying gutter ball, gutter ball, gutter ball. She hit one pin, she's celebrating, and nobody's there because Artemis, Gail the Snail, and Frank went to do a threesome, and then Dennis and Charlie and Mac, they went to the Sixers game.
Wait, how could there be a Sixers game going on? Isn't this taking place at night?
Well, it's a Sixers game would be happening is on a Friday night. So yeah, Sixers game would happen on a Friday night.
So how could they get to the arena in time? How would they get tickets?
Okay, I don't know about the continuity there and that explanation.
It's weird.
Maybe Gritty got him free tickets.
But yeah, at the end of the episode, the only person left of the 8 was the waitress. Because like I said, the 3 guys not named Frank went to go to the Sixers game, and Frank and Artemis and Gail the Snail were getting it on.
Maybe.
No, there's no maybe. They were getting it on.
Oh, okay. All right. So also in this episode, Rory King as Melody. Rory King from previous entry. I'm about to say this again. Unironically, I'm a big girl now. Episode 9. Family Feud. It is what you think it is. Brad and Angie's families face off on the game show Family Feud. Because ABC in the 70s, am I right? And of course, we have Richard Dawson playing himself, Gene Wood playing himself, and Carlo Imparato playing a guy named Petey.
Wouldn't be a guy named Petey, because at this point, Carl Imperato would have been like 16, 17 years old.
Yeah, he's a guy named. Yeah, he's a guy. That's a guyish age. He's guy enough to have been in Fame in a couple of years, and by the time he's in Grey's Anatomy, he's not a guy anymore. He's a man.
Well, he was a man during Fame, but you know where else he was a man? The weeks where he appeared on Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour.
Episode 10, Harvey's Mother. Angie gets worried when an attractive divorced mother seems very interested in Brad and keeps making appointments with him. Oh my goodness gracious. Playing Loretta, Ellen Travolta. Playing her son Harvey, Corey Feldman.
You mean the Corey Feldman that was on like the first 15 episodes of Madam's Place?
Yep, the very same. And playing his sister Karen, Francine Tacker from The Paper Chase.
Hey, how about one more name? Playing Seal on this episode, Florence Hallop, the second Night Court bailiff after Selma Diamond, before Marsha Warfield.
Episode 11, Mary Marries. When Brad and Angie find out that Mary just got engaged, they agree to hold her wedding at their home. Playing Douglas, I imagine this is the person that Mary is going to marry, G.W. Bailey, who is in the first season of St. Elsewhere, almost all of the Police Academy movies.
He's Captain Harris, silly.
I know. That's what I was talking about. He's Captain Harris.
Yes, but he's in Mannequin.
The only 80s movie that truly matters.
That's right. What a great cast Mannequin had. You had Andrew McCarthy, you had Kim Cattrall, you had G.W. Bailey, you had Estelle Getty, you had James Spader.
Phyllis Newman.
What about Meshack Taylor?
Oh, Meshack Hollywood!
You made that movie.
How could you not name Meshack Taylor? Why did I have to come up with that?
That movie made his career.
That's right. Time out. Let me get it right here. The Mannequin Blu-ray that I have in my hand from Olive Films. By the way,
this is CNN breaking news.
Olive Films, no more. I will hold this Blu-ray of Mannequin and my Blu-ray of 8 Men Out from Olive Films with pride. Thank you very much.
Episode 12, The Gambler. A trip to Atlantic City helps to rekindle Teresa's gambling addiction. Now, if you're like me, you know it doesn't cost but $10 to buy a train ticket from Philadelphia to Atlantic City. Because if you're like me, you're a degenerate gambler.
Were any of the casinos in Atlantic City run by the Philly Mafia?
Depends on your definition. Were they run by Soupy Sales and Buddy Hackett? No. Were one of them run by
Mr. Black?
Yes.
Maybe not in 1980, but yeah.
Maybe not in 1980, no.
But I'll tell you this, if Buddy Hackett and Soupy Sales ran a casino, I bet you they would have had a great takeout business at the casino.
I figure you do a good takeout business.
Good takeout business. Yeah, we do a good takeout business. Takeout business.
Greg shoehorning the reference in just to hear that stupid sounder.
Hey, it's a Philadelphia-based TV show. We got both that reference and a reference to It's Always Sunny. I say we're doing pretty good right now.
And Mannequin is set in Philadelphia.
We love Philadelphia. It's the city of brotherly love, you know.
Philadelphia freedom.
Episode 13, Coffee Wars.
Coffee Wars. Now, Chico, I've heard of the Cola Wars, but I've never heard of a coffee war.
Then you've never been to a street corner where one side had a Krispy Kreme and the other side had a Dunkin'. Or one side had a Dunkin' and the other side had a Starbucks.
Wait a minute. Did you say Duncan?
Oh, no. We're triggering Greg.
Hold on a second.
He was worried he wouldn't be able to contribute to this episode, and look at him.
We need to stop enabling him.
Angie's coffee shop existence is threatened by the arrival of a fast food restaurant. Angie tries to figure out how to keep her customers and stay in business, leading Brad to buy the coffee shop. Now, Greg.
What? Why? Why would you have Brad buy the coffee shop?
Because he's filthy, stinking rich, Greg.
All right. Here we go. Here's my Dunkaccino clip of the day for you guys. Now get ready.
Something's brewing at D&D.
Wow!
Al Pacino!
It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk. Dunkaccino? Don't mind if I do. What's my name?
Dunkaccino.
It's a whole new game.
Dunkaccino.
You want creamy goodness? I'm your friend. Say hello to my chocolate blend. Attica, hoo-ah, lottie light. This whole trial is out of sight. They pull me back in with hazelnut too. Caramel swirl, I know it was you. Everyone wants my Dunkaccino. Can't get enough of my Dunkaccino. Kids from 7 to 17 lining up for my Dunkaccino. What's my name?
Dunkaccino.
Dunkaccino.
Is that Jack Black?
Yeah. Now, do you want to explain what the video is?
Dunkaccino.
No, I really don't. No.
Dunkaccino, but it's in VR chat.
Next episode, please.
Oh my gosh.
Episode 14. Angie and Brad's close encounter? What?
Of the third kind?
Some kind of something. Brad and Angie meet the new neighbors who introduce them to group therapy, which is designed to improve their marriage.
I got news for you. It's not going to improve their marriage.
No. Some of the characters on this episode. Playing Sissy is Lorna Patterson. I think she was on a week of Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour. But she was in Airplane and Airplane 2, so...
She was not on a week of Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour.
Dang it. Earl Bowen, who passed away this year. Michael Tucci from It's Gary Shandling's Show. And playing Betsy, Rhea Perlman.
Ooh.
Hey, how about we tie in It's Always Sunny again? She played some neighbor who may have had a curse earlier this season.
What?
You missed that? The episode where she kept on getting her hand glued to doors, and the character played by Rhea Perlman, she was supposedly like cursed in some capacity. Yeah, it wasn't one of the better episodes this season. By no means is it a Risky Rats or The Gang Goes Bowling, but still, I mean, it's an episode with Rhea Perlman in it. And of course, let's make the natural connection. Rhea Perlman and Dan DeVito were married.
Humor writes itself.
Not even the humor, it's just that natural connection.
Episode 15, Beauty Parlor. Remember a couple of episodes where we had coffee wars and Angie was struggling to keep her customers and save her coffee establishment, only to have Brad swoop in and rescue everybody?
Yeah.
She decides to close the coffee shop and buy Rose's beauty salon with Teresa.
What? Okay.
Playing Rose is a lady by the name of Mary Gorman. She's not one of the three Marys, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. But she was in the original Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, where she played a hooker.
A hooker?
Yes. And she was in 10 in 1979, playing, ironically enough, a coffee shop waitress. Episode 6, Teresa's Gigolo.
Numbers are tough. It's episode 16. just like the number of episodes of Uncle Croc's Block and the Hudson Brothers Razzle Dazzle show.
Angie begins to suspect that Gianni is only taking her mother out on dates in an effort to buy the salon. Episode 17. Marie moves out. Marie has a fight with Teresa and moves in with her boyfriend. I'm guessing that would be Adrian's med as Maxie. Yeah, I can see it.
Well, sure as hell isn't Florence Hallop. Oh, it could be, but that'd be kind of weird.
Episode 18. Brad's best buddy. When Johnny considers quitting the salon, Angie suggests that Brad hang out with him in the hopes of changing his mind. The plan backfires when Johnny begins spending all of his time with Brad and Angie. Playing the role of a waiter, Milton James, back then credited as Milt Yamin, noted voiceover actor in Grand Theft Auto 5, Grand Theft Auto 4, Bully, Warcraft 3, Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, and Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage as Sir Moneybags and Basil the Explorer. Episode 19. February Fever. To help Angie get over the winter blues, Brad plans to have their long-awaited honeymoon in the Caribbean, but getting there proves to be a challenge. Florence Hallop, Tim Thomerson, and Tessa Richard return as their respective roles.
But playing a ticket agent in this episode, somebody we've talked about in the past, Ronnie Graham. Where you would know him from. In the movie Spaceballs, he played the minister with the big mitre, the big Pope hat.
Marriage.
Oh yeah, when you see that big Pope hat, yeah, you know exactly who that is. But also we talked about him previously because he was on an episode of The Nut House. So he actually sort of aligns very nicely in the Mel Brooks universe, if you will, between Spaceballs, The Nut House, and he was in Robin Hood Men in Tights. And History of the World Part 1. And he was on the Ghostbusters in 1975, so that's at least the third time we've talked about him.
Episode 20. The President's Coming! The President's Coming!
Oh, geez. Is this an episode about Bill Clinton?
When the President of the United States accepts Brad's father's invitation to dinner, Angie must keep it a secret from everyone, including her mother. Uh-oh!
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Because Teresa Falco loves to talk. Episode 21. The Kid Down the Block. Brad and Angie help a boy with his stage fright by doing a rehearsal of Cinderella with him at their home. Couple people we talked about in the past. Michael Delano as Mr. Stewart, the father. Of course, Michael Delano was the DJ on the Super Train, which runs off of Time Lord technology. And playing Matthew Stewart, Mino Palucci from Voyagers.
He's getting a Hall of Fame resume. What is this? This is at least the fourth episode we've talked about him on. Angie, the Bad News Bears, and obviously Voyagers, Manimal. Yeah,
that's four.
That's four. I think he's one away.
And hold on, future entry Best of the West with Leonard Fry.
And Helltown with Robert Blake, which I am pretty sure is on the list. Didn't even mention he did an episode of 10 Speed and Brown Shoe, so that's one.
That's it. That's what it was.
And then Angie is 2. And
Bad News Bears.
Bad News Bears is 3. Manimal is 4.
Voyagers is 5.
And Voyagers is 5. I think he's got a Hall of Fame case.
We shall see sometime next year.
Stay tuned.
Episode 22, Friends in Need. Brad and Angie go out of their way to help the three Marys get through their respective problems. In a return performance as Father Ortelli, Martin Ferrero who was in Jurassic Park, Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, and Heat. He played Gennaro in Jurassic Park. If I'm not mistaken, the first person to get eaten by a T-Rex. Greg, he was an Air Bud World Pup.
What was that?
Air Bud World Pup.
Oh my! Air Bud World Pup. Get that garbage out of here.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Episode 23, Angie and the Doctor. No, Tom Baker was not in this episode.
Oh.
When Brad injures his back and cannot run his practice, Angie and Brad are surprised when his temporary replacement is a young, attractive female doctor, Dr. Walker, played by Shelley Smith.
And we've talked enough about Shelley Smith in the recent past. We just talked about her a couple of episodes ago on Tales of the Gold Monkey.
Not to mention, she was also in previous entry Lady Blue.
And 10 Speed and Brown Shoe. So there's 4. There. Oh, hold on. Well, this one, I don't know if this will put her in hall contention, but she's on at least a week of Match Game Hollywood Scores Hour, it appears. So technically 4 shows and appeared on a week of Match Game Hollywood Scores Hour.
And the final episode, Angie and Joyce go to jail. Angie and Joyce flash back to the day when they were arrested while on a shopping trip.
Boy, sounds like a bottle episode to me.
Yep. And playing Debbie in that bottle episode, Eileen Graff, formerly of Super Train, future of Mr. Belvedere. That's the show, and again, well written, well produced, well acted. Everybody had chemistry with each other. So the question remains, as it always does on this show, what happened? Because May came around, ABC was renewing a buttload of shows and greenlighting a buttload of shows for the fall. And Angie was not on the list for season 3.
Okay, we'll break it down. Let's start with looking at the schedule, because we talked about how the show changed time slots, or days rather, for season 2. On premiere night, it aired against the second half hour of Little Women, presuming either a TV series or a mini series on NBC. And then on CBS, it was going up against the second half hour of The Waltons. Now, mind you, at this point, The Waltons is in its third to last season because it got canceled in 81 or ended in 81. So again, decent competition on one side, Little Women, irrelevant. But the lineup it was with, I mean, this is a superstar lineup. If you're talking about 1979, this is a great lineup. Mork and Mindy, Angie, Barney Miller, Soap, Family. That's 3 great hours of television. And then to start season 2, it was on Tuesday nights at 8:30, after Happy Days, before Three's Company, 9:30 was Taxi. Then most of that season, you had Heart to Heart. Again, solid lineup. And it went up against California Fever on CBS. And, I hate saying this because Greg is going to get all emotional. The Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo on NBC. You don't miss Sheriff Lobo?
Oh, miss Sheriff Lobo.
But then it moved again to Monday nights after Monday Night Football wrapped up. So we're talking January, February of 1980. And again, half the competition, not too bad. The other half, bad. CBS was airing something called The Last Resort, a sitcom that really, I took a look to see who was in the cast of that. There's a couple names we mentioned, but nobody major. But on NBC, the second half hour of a little show called Little House on the Prairie.
No!
That's one way of phrasing it. But then it got moved to Saturday nights. So it went from Tuesday night to Monday night to Saturday night. This is not going to end well, just saying. Besides being buried on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. on ABC, Angie went up against the first hour of the Tim Conway Show on CBS and BJ and the Bear on NBC, the first half hour of that show.
I actually charted everything out here. In 1979, Laverne and Shirley moved from Tuesday at 8:30 to Thursday at 8, then back to Tuesday at 8:30. The Ropers moved from Tuesday at 10 to Saturday at 8, then to Thursday at 9:30. Mork and Mindy moved from Thursday to Sunday. Welcome Back Connor moved from Saturday to Friday to Canceled. Happy Days, Three's Company, Barney Miller, and Taxi didn't move at all. So to make a long story short, Angie died so Laverne and Shirley could live.
Was it really worth it? Let's be honest. No.
Well, also very telling is the Nielsen ratings. I have the ratings for February of 1980. Now, we talked about Angie being the number 5 series of the 1978-79 season. Out of 68 episodes this week in February of 1980, would you care to take a guess as to where Angie ranked?
42.
No. Greg, you want to take a guess?
Wait, what did you say?
Of 68 shows in February 1980, where did Angie rank?
Well, I can't say 69, obviously. 68.
Well, it's not 68.
Well, I'm going to go 59.
Oh, Greg, you're one off. 58th. Ooh. But listen to the shows just in that general area. 60th is Laverne and Shirley. So Laverne and Shirley was getting worse ratings than Angie at this point. The Ropers was at 56. 1 in a Million, which we've talked about, was 61st. And really, most everything else is stuff we're not going to talk about. Nothing memorable there. So your top 5 show in basically, gosh, what, about 8 months? Went from top 5 to 10th from the bottom, 11th from the bottom. And yeah, you said Angie got killed off so it could save Laverne and Shirley. I agree with that. It was a sacrificial lamb. Plus also, since we just talked about the Ropers, looking at this before the show, I looked at Angie and you know exactly what I thought? I thought it mimicked exactly what the Ropers did. Because it went through the same type of process. Good first season, second season, not so good. And it got canceled. So I see a lot of parallels there even. Not that they're similar or the same type of show, but still, you see the parallel of a good first season and the second season just basically falling off the face of the earth.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But if you want like an actual answer to why this show got canceled, one person that you should absolutely not ask is Donna Pascoe herself. After giving the show a 50-50 shot at renewal, she said, "I don't try to understand it anymore. You have to take it as a big chess game, and the only person who sees the total logic is the person making the moves." I've seen the moves that ABC would make in 1980. Hindsight is 2020, and I'll just leave it at that. The show never really went away. It would come back in a couple of years to be sort of the lead-off of their daytime lineup. You know, when ABC would have Trivia Trap, Family Feud, reruns of Angie, and something else. And people watched those reruns. They fell in love with the show. Of course, it didn't get a second chance. I mean, you got 36 episodes out of it. That was it. But yeah, the show really didn't go away after cancellation. And in 2017, the show actually did get a home video release thanks to Visual Entertainment and CBS DVD, because this was a Paramount Television production. Of course, if you can't be bothered with the trifles of physical media or paying money, you can watch all 36 episodes on YouTube for free, unofficially.
And also, they are on YouTube, but for reasons we mentioned earlier, the opening and closing themes are not intact. We mentioned that at the top of the show. Why?
Oh, boom.
Well, if the open means that much, we're sorry, but the show itself is intact.
Don't cry for anybody involved with this show. Doris Roberts would, of course, go on to play a similar to but legally distinct from character on Everybody Loves Raymond. Deborah Lee Scott would continue playing any game show that would have her until her untimely death. Donna Pesco, of course, would find later roles on Out of This World and Even Stevens. And Robert Hayes would be only a couple of months from the role that would make his career. Angie started out with a whole lot of promise, but then ABC mucked things up, losing the ratings race to CBS in the process. And Angie sadly became just a thing on TV. Well, you can let the love show, let the love grow over at itwasathingontv.com, where we have our previous entries, all almost 400 of them. We're talking about minisodes, live watches, all of our episodes, including the one we did earlier this week with the Hall of Fame induction. Of course, we're on all social media, and It Was a Thing on TV, except for Facebook, where we are at It Was a Thing on TV podcast. And we are available wherever fine podcasts can be downloaded or streamed. Like and subscribe, rate, review, 5 stars only, because positive vibes only.
And don't forget, we are on Threads. Just like all the other cool kids are doing. We're at Threads at It Was a Thing on TV.
And we're also on YouTube. We don't have the theme song, but we do have the bell. And if you hit it, you will stay up to date with all of our future entries, including something we have next week. Hard-hitting female journalists. Jessica Savage, Barbara Walters, Connie Chung, Meredith Vieira, Katie Couric, Nora O'Donnell, Rachel Maddow, and somebody who was overlooked after 13 weeks. We'll tell you all about her career and why it had such an abrupt end next time, right here on It Was a Thing on TV. Thank you ever so much for listening. Please be kind to one another, and we will see you for the next one.
Wow! The number of children in an average American family. You said
2.
Zwei.
Yes.
One of each.
Mm-hmm.
Survey said. Color of a parakeet. You said green. Survey said.
I feel like fainting.
Popular form of recreation. You disappointed me here just a little when you said tennis. Survey said. I have to tell you that this little, you are shaking.
I know.
Hyperventilating.
I'm doing all of it, and I feel like fading, so hold me up. Oh gosh. Okay.
Oh, you've done so well. You got no problem.
Thank you.
If you do fall, go that way.
Okay.
I just had it dry cleaned. And,
Oh,
common color to paint a room, and you said white. Survey said.
Oh, gosh, Ma. Yes.
And Ma's proud of you.
Yeah.
Angie's proud of you.
She can't get over all the times you kissed her that night. Oh, no, I mean when she came to the show. Like you met him.
A sport whose players go to training camp. You said
They do, don't they?
football. They do indeed.
Yeah.
And you are 23 points away from $10,000 and the fact that we'll never see Robert again. That's the only thing that I should have pointed out in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
He has to move on to another series. Survey said.
Am I on?
I tell you that you gave me every number one answer except the first one, which was the number of children in the average American family. You said 2. 3 was the answer.
Oh.
Would you like to, we'll talk about this during the break. We'll be back right after this.
All right, it's a quickie version of the Joey Gallo update. Quickie theme song.
It's the Joey Gallo update.
This past week was the All-Star break. Not a lot of games were played. However, Joey Gallo had one hit since the last time he talked, and it happened to be a home run against Oakland. His batting average is at 187. There's the ending. Have a good rest of the week.